The rooftops of Thebes are alive with motion by early afternoon, soft fabrics catching the wind, voices drifting upward, the faintest shimmer of mirage rising from the horizon. You climb a narrow mud brick stairway, your hand brushing the warm wall for balance. At the top, you're greeted by a scene that looks like a dream painted in light. Rows upon rows of linen sheets, drying in the sun like sails waiting for the breeze to take them somewhere holy. You pause for a moment, squinting against the glare. The white cloth practically glows. A lazy hush blankets everything, broken only by the faint chirp of desert sparrows and the steady whir of insects. The workers up here move slowly, almost languidly. They spread, lift, fold, adjust, every motion purposeful but unhurried. This is the quietest part of the day, when even time itself seems to nap. You crouch near the edge of the roof where two women are carefully realigning a sheet that's starting to curl in the heat. One of them looks up and grins. "If the corners lift," she says, "the gods will think it's trying to fly away." You can't help but laugh softly. "And that's bad?" you ask. She winks. "Only if it reaches them before we finish our work." It's the kind of humor that keeps everyone from melting into puddles. Historians still argue whether Egyptian linen was always pure white or if natural hues, cream, pale yellow, even light blue, were acceptable for everyday use. What's certain is that sunlight itself was the final ingredient. No bleaching chemicals, no mechanical dryers, just the relentless Egyptian sky, which could bake laundry so thoroughly that even mildew didn't dare show up. You realize that, in a sense, the whole civilization ironed by weather forecast. A young man nearby uses a reed rake to gently turn the fabric, his motions practiced and patient. "The sun must touch both sides," he explains. "If it doesn't, the moon will complain." Another joke, but half superstition, too. You sense that to them, the heavens are always watching, not in judgment, but in partnership. The air smells faintly of hot clay, linen, and something green, the faint vegetal scent of flax. Sweat trickles down your neck, and you wipe it away with the edge of your borrowed wrap, which by now looks distinctly less crisp than the divine laundry all around. You sigh. "I'd never make it as a temple washer," you mutter. The woman beside you shrugs. "The gods have many jobs. Maybe yours is just to tell the story." It's a kind thought, and it lands somewhere deep in your chest. The heat deepens, heavy but oddly soothing, like a warm blanket instead of a punishment. Insects hum lazily over the rooftops, and you notice little lizards darting between cracks in the brick. Someone nearby sets down a clay pot, and steam curls up from the mouth. You peer inside. It's filled with sand so hot it could roast chickpeas. The man dips a small linen square into it, shakes it out, then smooths it against the stone. You realize what he's doing. The sand's residual warmth is acting as a primitive heat press. The result is startling. Crisp folds that hold their shape even after cooling. "Only for special pieces," he says, catching your curious look. "Temple ones. Or a bride's veil." You nod, watching the steam rise, fascinated. A practical technique wrapped in quiet reverence. You remember the words from earlier, "The cloth must remember the sun," and smile to yourself. Clearly, this sand trick is how they make sure it never forgets. In the distance, a faint breeze stirs the fabric. Every sheet ripples softly, and the sound they make together is like breathing. You imagine the city exhaling through linen lungs. It's easy to see why ancient poets compared white cloth to light itself. In this heat, they're almost indistinguishable. You find a shaded spot and sit for a while, just watching. The rhythm of it, the lift, shake, fold, repeat, is hypnotic. Somewhere below, someone plays a slow melody on a double flute. The tune floats upward, lazy as the air. You close your eyes and let it sink into you. When you open them again, the light has changed. The linen no longer blazes. It glows, softened by the lowering sun. Workers start gathering the finished pieces, stacking them in bundles tied with thin cord. The mood lightens further now that the hardest hours are over. Someone cracks a joke about a missing sheet being stolen by Ra himself, and laughter ripples through the group. One woman waves a bundle in your direction. "Here," she says, handing it over. "You've earned your share." You lift it, surprisingly light, impossibly smooth. "What happens next?" you ask. She gestures toward the streets below. "Now we take them home, or to the temple. But first, we fold." Folding, the quiet finale to a long day's effort. You imagine how each piece must be stored, perhaps scented with oils or sealed in baskets. It's the moment when the chaos of the morning's washing resolves into order again, and you can almost hear the universe exhale. But before heading down, you pause to look out over Thebes. From this height, the city glows softly in the late sun. Roofs, courtyards, and walls shimmer in beige and gold. The Nile glints like a slow vein of light. Smoke curls from small cooking fires, the smell of lentils and onions drifting faintly upward. You think of the workers below, farmers, potters, scribes, each with their own tiny rituals of order, smoothing the rough edges of daily life. It's strange how something as mundane as ironing can reflect an entire worldview, a constant, gentle fight against disorder. You stand, stretch again, and pick up the bundle. The warmth of the linen seeps into your arms, soft and grounding. Somewhere below, a donkey brays with impressive self-importance. Someone shouts back a sarcastic yes, "Pharaoh, we hear you," and laughter erupts again. Humor, the eternal relief valve of human existence. The stairs down are narrow, your shadow stretching long before you. The air feels heavier here, as though the sunlight itself has weight. You catch glimpses into open courtyards, children playing with clay toys, old men repairing sandals, a cat sprawled like royalty on a cool step. Life hums along, practical and sacred at once. At the base of the stairway, the linen bundles are already being sorted. Some will go to the marketplace, some to temple stores, some to private homes. One woman shakes her head and mutters that her cousin keeps folding cloth like a mad ibis, and refuses to admit her corners are uneven. You chuckle quietly. Apparently, even in the age of pyramids, there were domestic debates about proper folding technique. You glance once more at the rooftops above, where the last few sheets still flutter. The sun dips lower, spilling liquid gold across the fabric. The world softens, edges blurring. You realize that every wrinkle pressed out today will come back tomorrow, and yet they'll smooth it again anyway. That's the point. Ritual repetition. Not permanence, but persistence. The air cools slightly. You feel your body slow to match the rhythm around you. The day's work is nearly done, but the story still stretches ahead, just like the river, long, patient, and quietly eternal.